Hi, welcome to Self-Worth series. I would like to ask you, are you sensitive to criticism of your being judged? Are you socially anxious or afraid of failure? Do you have a deep feeling of shame or not feeling good enough? Hi, my name is Niveesh and I'm prompting you to ask yourself these questions. Although I like to share my experience, what I've learned, and hoping to invite you to live a self-worth driven life. I'm an operations lead in Hope Dodge, helping kids discover self-worth, NGO by experience, self-worth educator by interest, and entrepreneur by choice. Occasionally, I dance. Let's get started. The honest truth is, it is in your belief. I've learned that it is your belief that limits you from being worthy. It's your belief that limits you from growth. Because your belief determines your thoughts, and your thoughts translates into an action, which is why here at Hope Dodge, I've learned to develop, I've learned to cultivate the highest form of belief and very respectful, called self-worth. And self-worth meaning believes in yourself. The value that you have does not come from what others say or do. In other words, you cannot comprehend the density of your value you own. It's far beyond your reach and understanding. Let me tell you, we all work based on our self-esteem, right? So self-esteem self-esteem is the estimate that you base it on an estimate. It can be your family circle, it can be the relationships you have, it can be the environment you're born in, it can be the talents you have, right? So your estimate is based on what you're born with. It can be anything. That is why we have something called high and low self-esteem. So eventually your self-esteem will lead to self motivation. But let me ask you a question before I go into it. If you don't have talents, or don't have the achievements, or you're not a good performer, or let's say you're born from a low income area and you're very unfortunate, what happens to your self-esteem? Definitely it will be motivated based on that estimate. So self motivation is the drive, it's the inner drive that's very involuntarily leading from self-esteem. That is why you can watch Netflix non-stop. You can go for a ice cream or pizza in the middle of the night. It's not stopping you. It's just an internal drive that's very involuntarily there. And what happens to that drive? It leads to self-regulation. Here it gets really tricky. Self-regulation is how you handle, manage, and adjust your decisions based on your self-estimate or your estimate. So what happens here is your self-regulation will lead to the decision that you take for your potential growth. And your growth is in all areas, that is physical, social, cognitive, spiritual, emotional, right? It's very holistic. So what happens if you are basing your growth on self-estimate? it fluctuates. It goes up and down, and when it goes down, it goes further down, and then you know what I mean. It just stops. It stops you from growing. That is why when you do something and you fail, you're just there and talking to yourself and saying that, what, I'm not good enough. You know, that's it. I just give up, right? That's why you are afraid of failing and you end up not trying. And my point is, if you're going to pursue your growth from a self-estimate perspective, we are preventing ourselves from reaching our potential. That is why we need to base our self-esteem mate on self-worth. It's very important, because if you're basing your self-esteem on self-worth and not on the positions you have, not on the relationships you have, not on the scores or talents that you may have, even if you are hit rock bottom, you can get back, be resilient, and you can take that as an experience, as a journey for you to grow. And that's why self-worth as a belief in yourself is very important. How to explain this in other words? uh, it is like chapati. Self-worth is like Indian chapati. Let me explain what I mean. The art of making chapati is not necessarily the way it is round in shape or how it puffs up when burnt. It is the kitchen. It messes up your kitchen, right? And you have leftover dried up flour on your fingers, and it takes a lot of time to clean that off. That is the art. That's what chapati made you do. And self-worth is exactly that journey. It's about that journey, believing in yourself that you can make a difference no matter what. That is why every meal, every side dish, it tastes amazing with chapati, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is your value is 100%. It doesn't fluctuate. You can't say that I'm 99.5%. It's complete. In other words, self-worth is God given. You're inherited with it. It doesn't matter about your bank balance or how many cars you have, house, or I'm born from a poor family, or I'm very underprivileged, or uh, it doesn't matter where you are coming from. You got to know, even if you are in the most toughest places, you are 100% valuable. It is God given. Believe it or not, the of you chances of you being born is 1 to 400 trillion. That means you have an identity. All you got to do is discover it through the lens of self-worth. That's it. Discover it through the lens of self-worth. And this is what self-worth looks like. It's not going to be an easy road. It's going to have a lot of hiccups on the way, but you got to believe in yourself and let no one, I say no one, stop you. Thank you. This is Niveesh signing out. Choose light, love, and peace, and keep discovering self-worth.